What is going on, traders? Welcome back to the Traveling Trader. Happy Monday to you. Getting into our cryptocurrency update for today. Market cap 123.6 bill. This was at around 117 bill just a few hours ago. However, on the backs of these cryptocurrency rallies that we see here in the last hour and 24 hours, we have increased back up by about 6 billion to 123. Bitcoin dominance sits at 52.4%. There aren't really any notable rallies here. Bitcoin's currently trading at around 3660. You'll see here on the Coinbase chart. It is currently in a sideways pattern ever since November, ever since we had the sharp drop in November, bouncing around really between 3,200 and 4,100. Any price action within that range doesn't surprise me because it is a sideways range nonetheless. So it wouldn't really surprise me if we hit any price within that range. If this sideways channel is broken, then we would have to start taking a look seriously at what our next moves are going to be. I'm currently not actively involved in any Bitcoin trades, as I said in previous videos, only because its future is precarious and there isn't really any upside, right? When you're trading, you have to look at upside. Maybe if you're a long-term trader and you're dollar cost averaging, yes, there is long-term upside. However, if you're swing trading, there isn't really any short-term upside and any need to engage in that risk. So if you look at Bitcoin on Bitstamp's chart, you'll see here, this is the weekly. We are bouncing off of the 200. We've never really fallen below the 200 moving average. And we've come close back in December and January, but we bounced off of there and we are currently riding the 200 moving average. The one key level to pay attention to here is this 50-week moving average in this orange. We are now approaching the 100-week moving average, and if we do hit that if we do converge, that would be considered a death cross, right? Not the death cross that most people consider, or that most traders consider when the 50 and the 200 converge, but that might signal, another bout of downside action for Bitcoin and might take us to new lows for 2018, 2019. The last time that 50-100 death cross happened was March of 2000 or April of 2015, right? And then we saw Bitcoin really just trade sideways up until the golden cross occurred again, which was the start of the bull rally, the famous bull rally for Bitcoin 2016, 2017. So in terms of swing trades, if you want access to the trade alerts, link is in the description. They are sent out on the Discord just like this. And you'll see here that Chainlink has surpassed our profit level of 11,690, which was also the all-time high or the recent high. And we're now trading at, I think the last time I looked, it was 12,300. I think we're at 12,447 sats on Link. So what we did here is set a rolling stop limit in order to protect profits. Depending on where you set your stop limit, it might have been hit already, or you might still be in this trade. Either way, Chainlink has been a winner for us. TRX being another one. You see here TRX bouncing and respecting this long-term support trend line here going up. And those have been our two biggest winners as of late. Jumping into the traditional markets, looking at the Dow, we are down around minus 0.5% on really all three of them, minus 0.75% on NASDAQ. So the Dow, the S&P, and the NASDAQ are down between 0.4 and 0.75%. Not really a huge day in the markets, but then again, it is still really early, and we have a few more hours to go before market close. A couple of stocks that I'm looking at right now, NVIDIA. I'm looking at NVIDIA, AMD. I'm looking at Amazon, and I'm looking at Netflix. Now, there are a few reasons why I'm looking at each of these. You'll notice that there's an E on most of these stocks. This is because the earnings reports on most of these stocks are due within the next few days, right? So you'll see here, if you're on TradingView, if you've never done this before, just click on the E and it will tell you the date of the earnings report and what the estimate per share, the earnings per share estimate is for that stock. Now, usually what we see is if the stock obviously surpasses or meets the earnings or surpasses it, then we'll see a rally and vice versa. Now, the reason I'm looking at some of these stocks, there is a chart that I found here. This is by the aurorareport.com. It indicates important money flows and ranks the top, I think, what is this, top 11 stocks based on these money flows. And there are a few indicators here. There's 3 indicators that they use: smart money, Momo crowd, which is basically just momentum investing or momentum trading, and short squeeze. Momentum trading is just trading based on momentum. It's based on the idea that if a stock is on a certain trend, right, like a certain uptrend, that it is more likely to continue that uptrend versus stocks that have been trading on the downside, right? So that is essentially what the Momo crowd is. Short squeeze, you guys know from crypto, that is, you know, the possibility based on the number of shorts, the open interest, etc. That is the probability or the likelihood that a short squeeze effect will happen if we do see a rally, which, you know, could propel the stock prices even further, or the coin prices even further, because of the short squeeze phenomenon. The smart money is based on an index called the Smart Money Index. Now, I won't get into the details here. You can look at it on your own, but it is basically an indicator that attempts to calculate smart money versus dumb money based on the market's gains or losses. There is a notion that the dumb money, or, you know, mom and pop type traders do their trading in the morning, right? So they read the news and they initiate their trades in the morning, whereas the smarter traders do it later in the day, after all of the news has been collected, all the price action has really been determined, and they're able to get in later in the day and make, you know, a better assessment as to what stocks to get into. Anyway, I don't want to get into that. But based on these 3 factors, you'll see rankings based on these 3 indicators, and Netflix, you'll see, is at the top, because there is an extreme likelihood that if it does beat its earnings. So if we take a look at Netflix here on TradingView, you'll see that its earnings estimate 0.25. It's due on the 17th, which is in 3 days. Netflix is already seeing a bit of a rally, but if it does meet its earnings or beat its earnings, then the likelihood that we'll see a short squeeze is extremely positive based on this report here, and that the Momo crowd, which is the momentum traders, will enter in or have already entered in positions into Netflix. You'll see AMD here, same thing, as well as Amazon. So those 3 I'm looking at. NVIDIA I'm looking at because obviously it declined heavily. It was trading back in October at $290 almost, and dropped all the way down to around $125, right? And this is largely due to the decline of the popularity of cryptocurrency and cryptocurrency mining, right? NVIDIA was a huge player in that game. So their earnings report is coming out in February 10th. It might be worth entering a position just because it is heavily discounted currently. Obviously, we'd have to take a look at some of the other indicators. But again, I will be adding stocks to the trade alerts on the Discord. Anyway, that is it for this video. I just wanted to close out with this interesting news story here. So Tulsi Gabbard, who did announce that she will be running for the presidency in 2020. It's funny because on her financial disclosure report, you'll see here, you know, obviously aside from the checking, savings, and then the traditional market stuff, you'll see here Ethereum and Litecoin. So this report where the candidates have to disclose their finances, you'll see that she bought Ethereum and Litecoin, and most likely bought this at the height of the bull market. Now, it doesn't say whether she was smart enough to sell, and it doesn't indicate the exact amount, right? It says an amount between 1,001 and 15,000 on both Ethereum and Litecoin. Funny that she didn't buy Bitcoin. I wonder why she hasn't really talked about this publicly. Maybe, you know, she had a friend in crypto that had encouraged her to buy these two. But yeah, I mean, there's no indication where she bought, where she sold, if she did sell, if she's currently wrecked. Anyway, I just thought it was a funny story. But yeah, That is it for this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. Leave a thumbs up. It goes a long way. If you have any question, comment, agreement, disagreement, leave it in the comment section below. Sign up if you want access to the trade alerts. If you need help with your technical analysis, that option is also available on that same link. Stay safe out there. Peace.